Yeah, we're back, people. Big up to every single one of you in the house. Make sure you do me a favor and hit the like button on entry. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure that you are part of the 12th man community. Make sure that you've also done me a favor and scan the QR code in the top right. Match Bingo is back. Hopefully, those of you that are playing it have won some money. There is more games in the Club World Cup. The Women's Euro starts at the weekend. Let's get Match Bingo downloaded on your app. £5 credited to your account, and you can play. Automatic cards, it ticks it off automatically. It's good fun, and it's easy to go and get that. So make sure you do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button and get Match Bingo downloaded. 200 in here already. Big up to everyone that raided from Lee Judge's stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do you know what? I'm knackered. I've done AFTV, straight to Judges, straight here. So this is my last one for the night. We're going to go through everything. We're going to look at Gyokeres. We're going to look at Sesko. And the reason that Sesko may be in doubt, we're going to look at Eze and advanced talks with Arsenal. We're also going to be talking about what might be with the next few days of signings that we all kind of expect, but are kind of praying just gets announced so we can move on from it. It really has been one of those transfer windows so far where people just want to be told who we're getting and move on and look forward to pre-season. But unfortunately, it does look as if we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. We were told the 1st of July was the date that we were looking for. We signed Kepa, and today we've signed nobody. And unfortunately, it looks as if we're in a position where we're going to have to wait just a little bit longer. So let's see what happens. Look, we're going to start with the rumour mill. And there's quite a lot of talk about who we might be getting in the attack. Now, everybody knows that Kepa is needed, or a goalkeeper at least, backup-wise is needed. We all know there's defenders that are probably going to come in to cover those that are either leaving or that we need cover for. We all know a midfielder is probably going to be coming in the door, maybe even two, from what we're told. But we all want attackers. We all want a winger. We all want an attacking midfielder. We all want a centre forward. And it looks like we might get all three. Now, if we get our way and Arteta and Berta and co are going to get what they are hoping for, we are looking at some exciting names. Now, this might be one of the best bits of news that we get if it gets across the line. This would excite me. At the moment, I'm not excited. I'm deflated. We've got a backup goalkeeper from Chelsea for £5 million. That's it. There's nothing else coming through the door. We're linked with a Valencia centre-back. We've got the Brentford centre midfielder coming in to back up Zubimendi. That is it. There's no rumour mill that suggests that tomorrow or the next day we're going to be signing or announcing any attackers. But we've got links. And the links right now are quite a lot when it comes to the attacking midfield option and the winger option. Now, Team News and Ticks is a source that is suggesting that Arsenal are looking at the following players, and they are saying that Eze is part of a free attacker plan at Arsenal this summer. The club are in the driving seat to sign him at the moment, and Arsenal are prepared to sign Rodrigo, Eze, and the striker, but are waiting for Rodrigo to say that he wants to leave Real Madrid. Now, look, I'm not saying that's a reliable source and that that's going to happen, right? You know how it works on here. I will say the following. If we sign Rodrigo, Eze, and Gyokeres, fair play, Cronkies have showed ambition, and let's now deliver. I will say that. And that's on top of the players that we're already linked with. That has to be on top of the players that look like they're coming in. There's 4 that look like they're coming in, which is, of course, Kepa, who's been announced, Mosquera, Zubimendi, and Norgaard. Sign those 4 and get Gyokeres, Rodrigo, and Eze on top of that. I will say that is an excellent transfer window. I did a show with Turkish and Curtis not long ago. I was asked which 3 players would excite you the most if we were to sign them at Arsenal. I mentioned Rodrigo, Gyokeres, Eze. They were the 3. They were the 3. So for me, I think we have to be realistic here and say that if we do pull this off, this would be superb. But this is all just links at the moment. It doesn't mean Eze's coming. It doesn't mean Rodrigo wants to leave. And it certainly doesn't mean we've made our mind up when it comes to centre forward. But what we do know is that Arsenal are looking to strengthen the attack. Now, are we looking to strengthen the attack in 2 or 3 areas? Well, it looks like at the moment it's looking as if we want all 3 areas that are going to be taken to the next level. And those 3 signings absolutely would. Rodrigo starts on the left. Gyokeres starts in the 9. And if I'm honest with you, on Erdegaard's performances, Eze could probably displace him and start in the 10. So I honestly believe there's chance for all 3 of them to start in this Arsenal side. What I do know and we do know for sure, is they definitely come and strengthen us. That's for sure. Even Eze, who might not start every game, come on, he's better than what we've got covering, which is Fabi Vieira, young players like Ethan and Max Dowman, who might not be ready to go for that kind of next level push, although I do hope they are. Eze would be a phenomenal bit of business. Phenomenal. So I think it has to happen. Now, apparently it's £68 million that his clause is. I think we're looking to try and get it down to 60. Over 3 installments is being suggested. Let's just see what happens. Let's just see. With Eze. Could be interesting. Next bit of news. Sesko. Apparently, Arsenal are really struggling to agree a deal with Leipzig regarding Sesko. Arsenal are still trying to get a deal done, but in my opinion, it wouldn't surprise me if they move on soon, as they are making no headway. Now, Sesko, Gyokeres. Sesko, Gyokeres. Today it's a Gyokeres day. The other day it was a Sesko day. Today it's definitely not a Sesko day because it looks like that deal is not happening now. And it might be a Gyokeres day. I have zero understanding what the hell is going on here. What I will say is it's clear that Arsenal don't really have their absolute dream target available, because they would just be going all out to get Sesko in. If that's all he is, right? If we're talking like 80 million euros, which is about 67 million pounds, I think, or something like that, we just pay it. We did that with Havertz. So what's going on? Wage demands, yeah, potentially, but Havertz is on 290, right? So why are we looking at Sesko and saying, oh, that's too much money, wage-wise and player-wise? But then we were happy to just go and get Havertz. Now, I don't want Sesko. I'll make that clear. I just find it weird that we're looking at trying to debate and negotiate a few £1 million here and there. Do we really want him? I'm not sure that we do. Now, I want Gyokeres. I really want Gyokeres. Are we going to end up with Sesko or Gyokeres? More on that in a minute. Mosquera. Valencia have offered Mosquera a contract renewal, but given the timing of the proposal or sporting ambitions of the other team trying to sign him, Arsenal, it's virtually impossible for the player to stay at Valencia. So it looks like this one's going to happen. Now, I'm surprised that we haven't actually announced this one today, because I thought, like we do with Norgaard, we could get this one done quite simply. It looks like it's a simple deal to do. In my opinion, £17 million should not break the bank. He clearly isn't going to want wages that are on anything near what some of our defenders are on. So let's get him in. I think it would be a fantastic signing for cover. I don't think it's going to be a player that we see a lot of next season, but he's certainly one that can come in to cover games in the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, maybe some of the Champions League knockout stages. I do think that there's a potential for him to actually grow alongside Saliba and Gabriel. And I like this because Berta's involved. And I've said that sometimes, and I'm going to say it again. I trust Berta. So let's see what this guy's about. He's got pace, he's got power, he's got physical attributes. He's likened to a young Gabriel when he came onto the scene at Lille. I think it's interesting to see whereabouts his position is long-term, because I don't know if he's a right-sided centre-back or left-sided centre-back. He can play right-back as well, apparently. So he's definitely got versatility to his game, which Arteta likes. And I think this is a good bit of business, because for me, when you're looking at the bit of business that Norgaard was and bit of business that Kepa was, well, this to me is good business. More so than the others, because he's a young upcoming centre-half. The other two are old and going to be around for a couple of years. That's not great business for me. This one is the one that I would say is good business. I like the look of him. Obviously, I've done my YouTube reel, and now he looks like Cannavaro or Sergio Ramos. However, you can see what his attributes are. His long-range passing is pretty good, actually. When he's been towards the right-hand side, he's been kind of switching the play to the left, and his passing ability is pretty good. I like his one-on-one defending from what I can see. He can definitely put in a tackle. I think he's got clear attributes that are going to suit the Premier League in terms of his physicality. Let's see what he's like. I'm not going to say he's going to be outstanding, and we shouldn't be buzzing for this one. But I do understand why we're going for another defender. And some people don't like me saying this. Oh, another defender. What the hell are you talking about, Dan? We don't need another defender. We actually do, because Saliba's got zero cover. Unless you believe Timber and White are our backup right backs and right centre backs. I'm sorry, you can't have that. Yeah, Timber's playing at right back, Saliba goes down. Ben White's now got to play at right centre back. Do you want that? I don't. I really don't. I'd just rather have the backup for Saliba coming in for the backup for Saliba when he goes down. And the backup for Timber is Ben White. So when Timber goes out, Ben White plays. That's how it works. Like, there's versatility, but Sometimes there can be too much, and people are starting to play 3 or 4 positions. I don't want that. I don't want that. So that's where I'm at with that one. So Mosquera, hopefully it gets done, and we can start to see now movement on that, hopefully, in the next couple of days. New away shirt has been leaked. I actually quite like it. It reminds me of the Lightning from 95 in JVC with Bergkamp and Ian Wright. It's got a little bit of that on it. It's not quite the same, but it is that kind of ilk. I believe a lot of people will buy that. I actually think the third kit will be a lot nicer than this. However, I think it's quite a nice away kit. So let's see what happens there. Eze, of course, being mentioned, and apparently we're in advanced talks. Now, it sounds like we've been in advanced talks forever, but we have advanced on signing Eze in recent hours, apparently. Talks are well advanced with the player and his reps. All that is missing is the decision on whether Arsenal will activate his release clause or not. Now, if we want the player, we are going to have to activate the release clause. Crystal Palace are not going to say, oh, yeah, his release clause is 68 mil, but just give us 50 over 3 years. That ain't going to happen. So Andrea Berta's got to work his magic here and say, look, we come to an agreement. You want the 68 million paid in a certain amount of time. This is what we'll do. And let's get the player in. Let's get the player in. I've got a lot of time for him. If we agree in personal terms, his reps are happy with a move to Arsenal. Crystal Palace suggests that it's probably likely he's going with the release clause being met. Let's just meet the release clause. £68 million, let's do it. If you want to do it over installments and Palace are happy with that, even better. But let's just get the player. You can't be advanced talks with a player if you're not really sure that they're going to accept the price you want. You have to be going into these deals saying, right, it's probably going to cost us 68 million this. So we got it. Yes. Okay, cool. Right. Let's do it. Let's try and get it for 60. But if we have to go 68, we've got the money there. And I don't think we've done that over the last few seasons. I think even so now with Sesko, we're going into the deal believing he's the player, but we don't believe we've got enough money to offer for him. It's just crazy. Absolute mad for me. Or if we have got enough money, which I believe we have, we don't feel necessary to pay it on a position we've spent £80 million on in 5 years. And just in comparison to that, by the way, I've got the stats here. Arsenal have spent £70 million on 9 goalkeepers, £257 million on defenders, £414 million on midfielders, and 80 on forwards. That is scary. Sorry, but that is a damning stat. Absolutely shocking. Anyway, nearly 1,000 people in here, not even 200 likes. Let's hit the like and subscribe button, people. We're well over 1,000 now. And we need to hit the likes. So let's do that. Hit like and subscribe. It's 2 free buttons. Make sure you're following Match Bingo and downloaded that. Get the app, get your cards, and let me know if you win. Scan the QR code if you fancy playing that on the top right-hand side. Let's move from this Eze news here, but it does look like it's advanced. And of course, we go into the next bit of news, which is a player I really do not want. We have apparently made an offer to Chelsea to sign Noni Madueke. Now, I don't understand if this offer is for real. I do not understand if this is going to happen. I don't want it to. I hope it's a load of rubbish, and I hope the rumor is, of course, loose. Let me tell you, if we sign Madueke and we don't allow that money to be put somewhere else, I will go mad. If we believe that Noni Madueke and Saka backup is more important than a Rodrigo winger or a centre forward or maybe an Eze, I will be livid. I don't think we need Madueke. I don't think we need Saka cover if we're bringing in Eze. I think we had to bring in Eze as an attacking midfielder or a right attacking midfielder, right winger. I don't actually think we need both because I think Ethan can do the job on one of them. And if Ethan's going to be Saka's backup, I'm cool with that. I don't want Noni Madueke. He didn't score as many goals as Ethan last year. I don't think he's as good as Ethan. I think Ethan's got an unbelievable potential and ceiling. I don't see that Noni Madueke is going to be the answer for Saka getting injured. Keep him at Chelsea. He's their problem. Sell them to Newcastle. Sell him to Newcastle. Sell him to Villa. Someone going for the top 4. I'm sure he could do a job there. But I don't want him going for a title for Arsenal as backup to Saka. And if I'm brutally honest, I don't actually think Madueke wants to come to Arsenal and sit on the bench and be that cover. There was doubts apparently when they spoken to him, or some of the reps had spoken to him, that he believes that he won't get ahead of Saka, and that's why he doesn't want to come to Arsenal. So I really pray and hope that this is not going to be happening. This is a awful signing if it happens. Awful. Spoke about Eze earlier. says that we're working on a deal. The player's keen on the move. He's excited by the project. Arsenal have now started talks on the conditions of the deal with both Palace and Eze's representatives. That's come from Fabrizio Romano, so that's fairly reliable. It looks like we are going all out for Eze at the moment. It looks like that is the first of the attackers that we're concentrating on, alongside the simultaneous bids that are going in for Gyokeres and potentially Sesko. And then there's this kind of debate about whether Rodrigo is going to be available, and if he's available, we need to get him. That's fine, but for me, this is the one that we need to start looking towards, because it looks like this could advance pretty quickly. And I think he realizes he's done a job at Palace. He's won a trophy. He's been good for them. He's been a great servant. Him and Elise, both in the same milk, moving away from Palace to a bigger club to try and win something. And of course, people laugh about Arsenal at the moment, but that's what Arsenal are trying to do. And he's got more chance of winning a Premier League or a Champions League or a domestic cup, in my opinion, coming to Arsenal than he has in some of the other clubs. Now, some will laugh and say, well, he's just won one at Palace. Maybe he should stay there. But Palace have won something the first time in their history. They're not going to go and win something again next season, in my opinion, particularly if they get rid of Eze. So that one could be interesting. Mosquera, from what Romano has said, is that his understanding is that Mosquera's desire is very clear. His desire is Arsenal, Arsenal, Arsenal. Mosquera wants to play for Arsenal, and now it's on Valencia and Arsenal to reach an agreement on a fee. The attraction of Arsenal is very strong for the player. So he clearly wants us. I mean, he couldn't be more clearer, could he? Yeah. I understand and appreciate that Valencia are trying to offer him something to try and keep him there. And I appreciate why they would want to do that, because he's obviously a very highly rated player. But let's just be real. He would rather come to Arsenal and sit on the bench and fight with Gabriel and Saliba and look at what we're building than play in La Liga trying to fight for top 10 with Valencia. That's just the way it's got to be. And I appreciate that. And I like that. So hopefully we do get him. A couple of Bellerin links from previous. The stuff here is also saying that he's decided not to accept Valencia's proposal of a contract renewal. The player wants to join Arsenal and hopes the two clubs can reach an agreement on the transfer. That, to me, makes me happy. I'm happy with this, right? I'm happy with this. I don't think there's any question about his desire to want to come to Arsenal. I don't think there's any question about the desire that Arsenal have to buy this player. So I hope it gets done. And I think it's quite an easy one. I really do. I think this one should happen. 20 million euros. Let's get it done. This is an interesting piece of news from Ben Jacobs. Very interesting. We all recognise this name, this face. Xavi Simons to Arsenal. Really? I have not heard this rumour. I heard Newcastle, and I think there was some suggestions in other clubs in Europe. I like Xavi Simons. I do. I think he's a very good player. Again, I think he's very versatile like Eze is, and I think that he's attacking midfield, wide player. But if I'm honest, didn't see this one coming. But Ben Jacobs has not said he's going to be signing for Arsenal. But apparently we're looking at him. According to Ben Jacobs, there's an outside chance, depending on what the final price is, and more left field, Xavi Simons is one that Arsenal really like. The player is very keen on a move to the Premier League. The challenge is that it was a complicated deal that saw him go to Leipzig. The total outlay was 80 million euros and the guaranteed fee was 50 million. But if he leaves so soon, a lot of those add-ons would not be paid. There's a window of opportunity, so I would keep a small eye on Arsenal, but I don't want to get anyone overexcited needlessly. So that was Bavs and Ben Jacobs talking. Ben Jacobs believes that Xavi Simons is a genuine target for us. Everyone's a target, right? We've got Eze, we've got Rodgers, we've got Madueke, we've got Rodrigo, now Xavi Simons. Let's be honest, are we in a position where, we're actually looking at a few of the individuals that we like and just decide on who we're going for? And it looks like that's the case. Now, I would say, as much as I like the sound of Berta, I'm not sure I like that approach. I think we should be looking at a target and doing all we can to get him. Now, I'm not sure that I'm going to be hypocritical here or contradict myself, but maybe I will a little. I've got no problem going for a target of A, B, and C, and D, but I don't think we should be making it very public about the 4 players we're looking at. I think we should be saying, this is the guy that we want. I'm doing all I can. Keep the other 3 under wraps. Because that's what should be happening. Here's your plan A, here's your plan B, here's your plan C. Go all out for Gyokeres, and if we can't get it, then boom, we go for another couple. Because I just feel like there's a potential for us to have that kind of, wow, Arsenal don't really know who they want. Arsenal not really sure who they want on the left. That's where I'm at. It's mad, really. It is mad. So that one could be interesting. Big up to LB for the raid. Absolute legend, man. Thank you so much for that, brother. Thanks all to the raiders that have come over. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. We've got 1.2 in here. We've only got 221 likes, though. Let's get that up. Heroes, all of you, really appreciate every single one of you. We've got 1.3 in here now, so LB's definitely rated. Really, really do appreciate that love, LB. You're a hero. And make sure you're following It's LB, the best Man City content creator out there. So make sure you're following him. So that's Xavi Simons. Would anyone take Xavi Simons? Let me do a poll. I genuinely don't know what people's thoughts are on this. Now, I don't know if this is true, by the way, because it's come from Ben Jacobs, who said he wasn't even sure, but it wouldn't surprise him if it was to happen. Would you sign Xavi Simons at the Arsenal? Yes, no. Let me know. A lot of people are saying, yeah, they would. Some people are saying, no, overrated, don't want him, would prefer X, Y, Z. And I get that. Cool, it really is 50-50 at the moment. Wow, we've got 56% saying no, 44% saying yes. That's very close. Yeah, that one is very, very close. Look, I like him. I think he's a good player. I don't think it takes us to the next level. I would prefer Eze because I believe that him and Morgan Rogers are actually genuine Premier League proven players that can actually go to another level. And I think that if he was to be stepping up, is Xavi Simons able to do that and settle down in this league? Well, we know that Eze and Rodgers can settle into this league. Are they able to do it for Arsenal instead of Palace and Villa? I actually do believe that those two would be better signings than Xavi Simons. And I like Simons. And I think when he played us against PSV, I thought he was excellent. When he first come on the scene, I thought, who is this guy? Is he the guy that, and they're like, yeah, PSG have loaned him. And he's then loaned from, Germany over to Leipzig and Bayern Munich and all these names that are linked with him again in the Premier League. Newcastle being one of them, by the way. You can see why, because that's the way it is that with players that have quality. So let's see what happens with that one, man. Let's see what happens with that one. Big up to my guy Elliot, who was on AFTV earlier. I really appreciate you calling in, man. It was great to see some familiar faces. You and yourself and Forder coming on was really a delight. So big up to you, Elliot. And look, man, I can't say I agree with everything you've said. I'm actually not very excited like you are. But you know what? Never change, Elliot. You're always positive, man. You're always looking at things in the way that maybe I should sometimes. So that's what I will say. Okay, let's look next at the next post. Xavi Simons. I mean, let's have a look at that poll. What are people saying? Oh, wow, it's 50-50. 51, 49, 50-50. It keeps changing, flicking. 50-50, 50-50. Wow, would you sign Xavi Simons at Arsenal? 50-50. I've never had a poll that is this close. Would you sign Xavi Simons at the Arsenal, yes or no? We've got 51% saying yes, 49 saying no. That is so close. So close. I'll leave it going for a bit longer. I'll leave it going a little bit longer. Okay, a couple of younger signings, which I'm not going to go into. Nathan Butler-Ayade has joined the Swiss side. I'm not even going to try and say it. Le Swan Sport, is it? On a permanent transfer following his release from Arsenal last month. This was a guy that was sitting on the bench for us last season. He's just joined the Swiss side. I mean, come on. What's happening there? Why was he on our bench for so long? It's crazy. Zubimendi is going to be announced as an Arsenal player tomorrow, according to Team News and Ticks. He's suggesting that will be done. I don't think anyone's going to be shocked. He's going to wear number 36. He's going to go and be announced hopefully tomorrow. And then we can move on from the Zubimendi, is he going to Real Madrid thing? That's what I will say. It has to be done there. Dan United, when you're making a debut on my show, legend, I wish I could have the other night, man. I didn't get back until late, and I do apologize for that, but I had family stuff going on. I will definitely come on, Dan. Make sure you're following Dan United. Make sure you're showing some love to him. Let's get him up to 1,000 subscribers. He's on his way. He's started. He's doing his content. You know him from this channel, so let's make sure you do that, people. Come on, show him some love. Can one of the mods put Dan United's channel in the chat, please? Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay. Obviously, Team News and Ticks has been talking about Eze again, saying this is a deal that Arsenal could get wrapped up in the next hour if they wanted to. Eze is desperate for it. There are rumours, I don't know where from, that Palace are willing to deal under the release clause. I would take that with a pinch of salt. I don't think Palace are going to be saying, come get him for less if you fancy it. I know that Eze might be saying, I really want you, and I think that's brilliant. However, I've got to be honest. I don't think Palace are going to budge on this release clause personally. And why would they? I wouldn't if I was them. No chance would I. No chance would I. And then we come to the news tonight. The striker situation yet again. I'm actually going to end this poll about Xavi Simons on 52% of you that say yes and 48% of you that say no. It might have just changed as I'd ended the poll as well. That's crazy. 52-47. 52% of you say yes, 47 say no to Xavi Simons. I did not expect it to be that close. I really didn't. But as I've mentioned, Gyokeres and Eze both want Arsenal in the title, and they really do, from what we understand. Gyokeres and Eze have pretty much said, come and get me. And we're still obsessed with Sesko. We look to be obsessed with Sesko. Why are we obsessed with Sesko? However, it might have taken a little bit of a stumbling block if we believe everything we read tonight. According to Team News and Ticks, Sesko is as follows. The original thought was that Leipzig, they wanted 83 million euros. I think the structure is as complicated as the fee because at 83 million euros, it was all up front, essentially like a release clause. If you wanted to break it down, Leipzig wanted more money. Arsenal always thought that Leipzig would budge, and obviously they don't want to go to that amount. It has, however, been stuck. It seems it's a bit of an impasse. Leipzig's point of view is that Arsenal haven't put their best foot forward. I think Arsenal's point of view is there's no point with the numbers they're speaking that they're going to be putting their foot forward at all. From him being our preferred target, I would say it probably now looks unlikely. It's not completely off or dead, but it probably won't happen. Now, everyone's got a price, right? Everybody's got a price. If you really want this guy, you're going to have to pay up. And I'm not sure that we're absolutely adamantly set as a collect, because otherwise, why would we have not got him? Why would Gyokeres be even spoken about? Why would we be talking about, oh, we might be waiting for Isak? I hope that this is true about Sesko. I really do, because he isn't worth that much money, in my humble opinion. And he also isn't the player that's going to take us across the line. However, I believe that Victor Gyokeres would be. And that's why I'm happy with this Sesko news if it's true. Hit the likes up, people. We've got 1.4K in here nearly, and we've only got over 300 likes. Let's get it up to 1,000 likes. If you're watching this on catch up and it's not at 1,000 likes, well, you know what to do. You got to hit the like button, people. Like and subscribe. It's free to do. Let's do it. Big up to DJB as well. Big up to Dan in the chat. Smash the likes. Get these signings done. Yeah, look, get the likes and subscribes done, and then let's get the signings done ASAP. Looks like Zubimendi is going to be announced tomorrow, my bro, DJ. Norgaard as well, I think will probably be soon after. Kepa has already been announced. Mosquera looks like it's close. Advanced talks with Eze. Everything's links, mate. So let's see what we do. Somebody put DJB's link in the channel, one of you mods, because we need to get DJ up to what he needs to be at as well, subs-wise. So let's do that, please, people. Big up to everyone. 1.4K in here. Hit the like and subscribes. Come on, let's go. Sesko. Does it look like it's a guarantee now? I don't know if that is something that we're genuinely looking at now, moving away from, but it looks, if this is true, like there's a stumbling block. Big up to It's Me Everest for doing that. Really appreciate it, bro. Thank you so much to DJ Denz as well. Look, I'm in a position now with Sesko and Gyokeres where I'm actually tired. I'm exhausted, people. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we've got a number one target in Sesko that's now moving towards Gyokeres. If I had to take a punt and guess, it would probably be that Andrea Berta has had a chat with Arteta and said, look, how much of a likelihood is it that he's coming? And he said, I don't know, but I only want to pay this much. And he said, well, do you know what? Then I reckon I'm going to go and see if Victor Gyokeres wants to come for that much money. And if he asks for too much money, we'll get Victor Gyokeres instead. That's what I can probably make out at the moment is probably the likelihood thing that's happening. But I really don't know if that's true. I get so confused with it all. I really do. Benjamin Sesko is not the player that will take Arsenal across the line, in my opinion. Some people disagree. But I will say this. I think Gyokeres might be the guy that can get us across the line. And that's why we have to go with him. Now, I said something earlier, and I don't think people understood it right. If we buy Sesko, we have to win the league. On Arteta's head be it, right? But it's the same with any striker we buy. It's the same with Victor Gyokeres. It's the same with Ollie Watkins, Osimhen, Isak, Julian Alvarez, Ekatike. It's the same with them. We have got to win a trophy this season, no matter who we sign. And that's why Gyokeres is the one that's less of a risk. But of course, it wouldn't be normal without being linked with another striker. And of course, the one that we keep being linked with is Ollie Watkins. Now, Team News and Tick says, today I was told that Arsenal have spoken to Ollie Watkins again and told him to hold fire on any deal. He would be the third choice, but with the first two looking difficult, it's not a third choice that's miles away. Watkins is an Arsenal fan and would love to play for them. Now, I don't want to become pessimistic and I don't want the chat to become pessimistic, but does anyone have a little bit of a bad feeling in their mouth that we might end up with Watkins and not Gyokeres or Sesko? I would absolutely be livid if that happens. If we bring Watkins, that's fine, but he has to be the backup. Watkins and Gyokeres, I'm all for it. But I don't see us getting two strikers, guys. Particularly now David Ornstein has come out and said that we're looking at a winger, attacking midfielder and one striker. I don't think we're getting two strikers. I don't think we're getting a right winger, a left winger, an attacking midfielder, and a striker either. I don't think we're getting all four. So, interesting to see. Interesting to see. Apparently, Tottenham wanted Cristhian Norgaard. Thomas Frank absolutely loves him. He can't stop singing his praises, but Norgaard only wanted Arsenal. He wasn't going to listen to anything else. Maybe that's made me like him a little bit more, that he's turned down Tottenham for Arsenal. But this is a signing that's a bit of a meh signing. Let's just be real. Like it is a bit of a meh signing. Big up to my guy Cameron Welsh, bro. Been a long time. I hope you're well, mate. Be patient. Yeah, Cameron always has a go at me because he thinks I'm negative with Arsenal and Arteta out and all this stuff. But come on, let's be real, bro. I much appreciate your opinions, but it's time to deliver. Let's get it delivered, Cameron, this season, Cam. Come on. So look, he's chosen Arsenal over Tottenham, which actually makes me laugh, to be fair. I understand and appreciate why he might have looked at them because Thomas Frank is there. Obviously, he's an admirer of him. And I will say this about Norgaard, right? I don't particularly love the signing. I don't particularly hate the signing. He's going to come in and be a bit of a mess signing. I think we've downgraded in that midfield department, bringing him in. However, when you look at what he has done for Brentford and the fans, how they respect him, I think it's quite fair. They respect him. I've spoken to Matty, who's obviously from this channel, who's a Brentford fan. He loves him. He says he thinks he's class. He loves him. He loves the fact that he brings a hell of a lot off the field as well as on the field. He's got physical attributes and presence, which we can see is quite clear. And apparently his dual winning's very good. So look, let's just see what happens with Norgaard. I don't think he's going to set the world alight. I don't think he's been brought in to set the world alight. So it'll be very interesting how this one goes. I actually think Thomas Frank might do well at Spurs. And by well, I mean that he might get them towards top 6 this season and potentially get them towards a trophy again. But that would be a good season, if I'm honest. That's for sure. What's happening next? The Sesko thing from another site is suggesting as well that we are not going to be paying more than 70 million euros for Benjamin Sesko. Arsenal are waiting to see if Leipzig change their stance, as Sesko is Arteta's preferred target, and he feels that Sesko completes the team. Now, one thing I do not understand, and maybe somebody in the chat could explain it to me, because I am not on this standpoint at all, on this viewpoint at all, sorry. Sesko is a better fit and a better profile for Arsenal's team. Please someone explain how Sesko is a better fit and a better profile for Arsenal than Gyokeres. Just someone explain that in the chat to me if you actually believe that, because I do not understand this at all. You need a gunman. We've got Martinelli, Saka, Odegaard, and all the other guys that are doing everything outside the box. We need somebody inside the box that's going to go goal, 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 goal. And I would rather go for a guy who's got 50 goals last season and 50 goals the season before that. That is what I would say would be the best, less of a risk striker. Why are we going for Sesko? And Bradley's come in and said, I think it's because Arteta likes the target man. Well, Gyokeres is actually a good target man as well. People think that he can't be someone who can hold the ball up. He can't link up play. He can't head the ball. He doesn't have a good shot on him. What the hell's going on? Sesko's got all of that. Yeah, but do you know what? Guess what? I'd rather have the guy who's scoring more goals, personally. Sesko is not the one that I look at to go, well, he's complete. He's ready. We're done now. Yeah? Because Arteta said so. This is facts, Jay. This is facts. Honestly, man, I just... Arteta wants... I'm sure if Arteta said that Mateta was the guy that fits his profile, everyone would want Mateta. Like, what are we doing? Like, it is so bizarre. It really is so bizarre. We seem to go with whatever way the wind blows with Arteta. Like, Arteta wants this. Yep, makes sense, makes sense. Does it? Does it really? I'm not sure that it does. I've got to be honest. So that's where I'm at. This is interesting. Apparently, Ornstein has said on the Athletic podcast that Arsenal always wanted to strengthen on the left wing, but they've got Gabby Martinelli there. If he was to leave, then you could see them bringing in a top left-sided winger. If he's not to leave, I don't think they will. We've reported on the likes of Rodrigo and Anthony Gordon. I think that's if Martinelli leaves. I don't necessarily think that that's if he was to stay. Well, of course, if we're going to be bringing in a left winger, I imagine that Martinelli or Trossard will be left to go. And we obviously need some money coming in. So that one could be very interesting. Watch this space. I don't know what's going to happen on the left-hand side. I really don't. And I think that one will be the last signing that we do make, if anyone at all. And it wouldn't surprise me if we kept hold of Martinelli and Trossard. NetSweet says, oof, I must have heard Gyokeres wants Arsenal over 9,000 times now. Please, mate, I like what you do, but this sort of thing is not cool. Please don't be like them. Look, man, we just report on information, NetWeed. I know you're a big lover of the channel, so big up to you. And I appreciate what you're saying there. But for me, it's about sharing information. The Sofa FC fans will blame Josh anyway. Boring. NetSweed also says, another day, another attraction FC news headline. Yeah, look, there's a lot of attraction at the moment. There's a lot of talk. There's a lot of links. Kahir says, Eze for 3 to 4 years. Then it's Dalman, Saka, and Nwaneri. Look, I think Dalman and Saka Dalman and Nwaneri need to be spoken about and being part of this squad still. I really do. I look at what Dalman's doing. I think it's amazing. I'm not saying he goes and plays 25 games, but I'd be more than happy to see him coming on a Carabao Cup game or two, playing 15, 20 minutes here or there. Let's see what he's about. Everyone says he's the next best thing. Let's take a look. Obviously, we know what Ethan's about, and I think he'll get better next season. And we go from there. But yeah, Eze would be a phenomenal signing. He really would. NetSweet's back. He says, every season, we're like an oil baron wandering drunk through Harrods, only to end up buying 99% of Lidl. How is that a Josh problem? He knows Eze now. Look, a lot of times people are blaming Josh Kroenke, and I actually am one of them. But if he delivers this summer, I ain't blaming him. It's on the manager then. Go and win something, deliver. Why always me says, I think they know that plan A is the real target, but publicly they pretend to be after multiple targets and they gain an advantage in negotiations. Look, if they're all smoke screens, that's fine, and maybe they are. Maybe they are. But I'll be very disappointed if we're using Gyokeres as a smoke screen for Sesko. That is poor. So, yeah. Some might say we're okay, Sesko, Dan. Will it hurt? Yeah. A lot of people say that we need Sesko. Farham says, question, buddy, will Arteta's system suit Gyokeres? This is a really good point, actually, because a lot of people are saying it doesn't really matter who we buy. Arteta's got to change his system, and I totally agree with that. Now, let me go back to the 22-23 season where Arsenal went 8 points clear and everyone believed that Arsenal were going to win the league. We were bloody brilliant to watch. We had scintillating football, and I thought Arteta knows how to play. He can play attack-minded football. Since then, we've reversed it and gone into a more rigid, compact, defensive mode. Set-piece FC. We can't be going to that again. When you bring in Eze, potentially Rodrigo and Gyokeres, you ain't going to be going set-piece FC with that. So the style's got to change. And it has to go back to that free-flowing, attack-minded football that we were so good at, where we were using Martinelli and Saka either side wide. Norgaard was spraying the ball either side, right and left. And Jesus was, to be fair, in the first 3 months, delivering for us. If that's Gyokeres, we've got Zubimendi now, who apparently is brilliant with his passing. Let's see what that's about. Rice with his engine. Let's see what we can do. We're better defensively now as well, because we had Zinchenko back then and Ben White back then. We've now got Timber and we've got Saliba, Gabriel, Lewis-Skelly. I think we got a great chance if we go back to that style of play of winning something. So let's hope that that's the case. Where else are we? NetSweet says, better fit. What is this loose women go to Zara? Yeah, I've got to say, I'm with you. Dan, appreciate the channel, mate. Good job. Listen, Will, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for that. I really do appreciate that. That means a lot. So, look, I'm really worried about what happens in the window, but we're starting to be linked with the right people. And that's exciting. However, something that doesn't excite me is, of course, the links with Noni Madueke. And it looks as if David Ornstein has had his say. So let's take a look at what he's been saying, because I really hope he poo-poos this. And I don't know if he's going to. I genuinely don't know if he believes that this is a deal that could be happening, because I do feel like there's genuine interest here. And I think it's been confirmed that there's genuine interest here. I just think it would be terrible. Absolutely terrible. Noni Madueke is one of the players Arsenal were looking at. Arsenal have long been searching for backup competition for Saka. They first looked at Brian Mbeumo. That didn't work out, so they had to look at alternatives. Madueke is amongst them. A lot appeals to Arsenal about that profile because he can play on the other side too. No, he can't. He'll be known to many of the Arsenal players. He's London-based, and Chelsea always open to conversations about trading. Of course they are. Arsenal and Chelsea obsession. It's clearly one Arsenal are doing some work on. Conversations are more on the player side. I don't know of anything club to club at this point, but that can change very quickly. That's a fluid conversation at the moment. If he is to go, Chelsea will be looking for a sizable return. I don't know the exact fee. Some people have reported in excess of 45 M's. I'd previously said it was higher, certainly higher than what they paid for him, I'd imagine. Do you know what? I hope David Ornstein is talking absolute waffle here, because if we go anywhere near Madueke for £50 million, that is nothing short of a disgrace. He is not that good. I'd rather go and get Bakayoko from PSV if we had to. In fact, I'd rather save my money and play Ethan. Seriously, I would. Absolutely ridiculous, that is. Crazy. Let's just be real. It's a madness for me. I can't understand why we would be looking at that as a genuine target. It is absolute madness. Sorry, but it is. I'm sick of talking about Chelsea rejects. And I put that stat out yesterday that 6 of the last 7 seasons we have bought a Chelsea player. And that doesn't include the likes of Petr Cech and Yossi Benayoun and Lassana Diarra. It, of course, is Kepa this season. Last season, who was it last season? Sterling. Season before that, Havertz. Season before that, Jorginho. Then we had a break. And then previously to that, we had David Luiz and Willian. So what is the absolute obsession with Chelsea and Arsenal? What is the obsession? I'd love to know. I'd love to know. Will's back. He says, mate, why does Arteta want also the player we don't? Yeah, that's frustrating, isn't it? We all wanted to see a proper attacking midfielder come in and a proper striker. He bought Havertz. We all wanted to see an upgrade on Xhaka, and it was Havertz. We all wanted to see a striker come in. He bought Calafiori and Marino. We all wanted to see a proper winger to replace an upgrade on Reece Nelson. Sterling was that guy. We all wanted to see a really exciting first attacking signing. His first attacking signing was Willian. We all wanted to see a proper midfielder maestro come in Caicedo, when he bought in Jorginho. What is going on here? Yeah? We need to get this window right. I'll tell you this now. I need to see it. And I'm frustrated if it don't happen. Look, that's all the news for tonight. I'm going to redirect you to Hassam, who at the moment I think either has started or is about to start. I did get a message from him. So, yeah, we're going to send you over that way. What can you raid? Just go and say 12-man raid, Dan Potts raid, whatever you want. Make sure you go show him some love. He's a great guy. I've got a lot of time for Hassam, doing amazing stuff on his channel as well. So please go and show him some love. He is a good old boy. So we're going to go and raid Hassam and go show him some love. They're just about to start, actually, literally in 5 minutes. So it's good timing. So go show some love there. Go and show them some love. And do you know what? Hopefully tomorrow we'll announce Zubimendi, Norgaard. These players will start coming in, and then we can look at the attack, because I've got to see that happening. I cannot allow there to be a scenario where we do not sign attackers soon, because Arsenal fans will lose their patience. Let me tell you that. Go show Hassam some love. Make sure you hit like and subscribe. Make sure that you are scanning this QR code now. Get Match Bingo and go and win some money on the Club World Cup, Women's Euros, and all the football that's going to be there in the summer. Big up to you people. Go show Hassam some love. Dan Potts raid, 12th man raid, and we'll see you next time. Laters.